New York bite at the direction at which the storm came. We could have a 28-foot storm surge, no problem. And if you look at the storms historically, the 1893 hurricane is kind of like about between Hurricane Sandy, Superstorm Sandy, and the 1962 hurricane. And all the other ones are below, including Irene. So that was not a medium-level storm last year, which caused quite a bit of damage. So I just think people need to reach out, and I asked the Army Corps last night, who's going to be the leaders to help educate us on how to make a decision on whether to rebuild our houses. I listened to the interview last night on PIX News of a woman who held her 13-year-old daughter in Tottenville until the roof came down and tore her out of her arms, and I was in tears. That moved me more than anything. So none of us probably in Rockaway, a few of us did experience fire, but I suggest we should ask the Army Corps. They're the experts since the 1820s on storm erosion. We have massively overbuilt the coastal areas of New Jersey, and I don't care if it's Chris Christie, Mayor Bloomberg, all of them. It's all been overbuilt. We need to figure out how to intelligently maybe unbuild, retreat a little bit from the shoreline, and still keep our homes and our communities intact.
Here to Mr. Mundy from the Jamaica Joe Watches.
Hi, thanks, Joe. I think this event, as unfortunate as it was for everybody here in this room, will give us a unique opportunity to make things better. I think we're going to hear within the next coming weeks and coming months some good things that you're going to hear. The bill that was passed the other night, Sandy bill, has provided the funding, which of course we all know we're not going to go any place without the money. The money is there now. And not only is it there, it's earmarked, although they're not earmarks normally, but this money is earmarked. And since 2004, when we had the last major beach nourishment of approximately 1,000 cubic yards for 6.2 miles of beach, after that, that beach was in pristine condition. Think back, 2005, 2006. This bill will allocate enough money for 1,500,000 cubic yards of sand to be placed on the beach, and hopefully before the end of the year. Now, that's not short term, as some people talk about, because we need it in 2 months or 3 months, or what about this, or what about that. But the logistics of things, you know, from when you say you want to do something, just if you had the final idea in front of you right now, and you were ready to let it out to bid and to go through all of the legal and all the agreements, it still takes months and months and months and months. So, unfortunately, we're probably not going to see something in a couple of months. But look beyond that. Look beyond, by the end of the year, that you're going to have a new beach, as good as it was before then. And that money in the Sandy bill also is funding the reclamation project, which was started. And it has possibly 4 alternatives in there, and hopefully one of them will be one that will suffice to provide adequate protection for the beach. They're also looking back at the Hurricane Barrier Beach study from 1966, which I had been involved with for a while. It's rather drastic. Calls for a hurricane gate across the Marine Parkway Bridge there on the bay side that would open and close, and it calls for a full barrier along the whole peninsula, something like this gentleman was talking about before, something that they have over on Sandy Hook by Seabright. It's a little bit obtrusive. It's a big rock wall. You got to go over the top of it and down the other side. That's in that study. It ends with berms that come around the peninsula and then on the bay side to protect from coming in from Nassau County and stuff like that. That's the 1966 study. It was put on the side. It's still there. From what I understand, it's off the shelf. They're going to be looking at that. So they're really looking at some ideas that here before Sandy would never even have thought to look at. And this is making them think out of the box. And I'm pretty confident that within the next months ahead of us here, you're going to hear good things, and a lot of it's going to come from the input that you're suggesting here tonight, and what you're doing to make these people aware of where you want to go. And I think tonight, Commissioner Cavanaugh is going to take that message back, and Jill, that we need community input, but we really need scientific background, we need engineers and whatnot, But let's not overlook anything. Let's look at all the different types of boardwalks. Let's look at the heights of them. Let's look at the rock walls. Let's look at jetties. Let's look at groins. Let's look at everything. And coming out of that, we're going to have a better place to live. Not today, not tomorrow, but in the near future. And look ahead and think positive.
I'm going to come to the other side of the room.
One second.
Good evening. Nice to see you. My name is Dan Guarino. I'm with the Wave newspaper. And we've talked a lot about rebuilding the boardwalk. A lot of the people I've spoken to over the last few months have said, well, we need to build it right. So if you've read some of our editorials, or if you haven't, the Wave is encouraging an international competition for designs to build a boardwalk. We have a world full of great ideas. We have a world full of experience from all over the world in how to deal with some of the problems we're looking at just now. So we would like to continue to promote, encourage that idea of bringing this world of ideas here to Rockaway, to build it right, and get it done so it serves all of our needs now and for as long as we're all going to be here and beyond. That's all that I want to say tonight. Thank you all for your support.
My name is Bennett Rackman. I live on 133rd Street, and I've spent, out of my 70 years, approximately 45, 50 years living in Rockaway. Born, raised in Far Rockaway, and living the last 30 years here in Bell Harbor. My main concern here, we've been talking a lot about the boardwalk. Wonderful. We need protection. We need walls to protect us from the ocean and the bay. That's short term. That has to be addressed now. Now. I want to make one other point. I was at a meeting here a month ago. Many of you are probably here. And the room was filled wall to wall. People were sitting on the floor, standing room only. I didn't talk then, and I want to make a point that no one made last month. When we started congratulating all the different agencies that failed us, some that failed us, some that did help us, one agency was left out totally, and I think everyone here will give a round of applause. Sanitation. Sanitation! Sanitation! Without them, we would not even be on the path of recovery. Sanitation helped us with what? Let me make a statement. They took away our physical things that we lost. I had a basement, all lost. The memories, they still remain. And that's why we are all Rockawayites. Sanitation. Sanitation.
Yeah. You're right. You're right.
Number 6 on this survey is the same kind of question that I had when we were here with Bill last month. And it says,
use the microphone.
Are not allowed by federal government to replace our playground equipment. Is that something that you know is going to happen? I know Jill can answer it then. Can anybody answer this?
Well, I maybe we answer.
Has anything been discussed or decided since you were here the last time in regards to the parks and I think it's decided, or is there some kind of a long-term plan? You know, the thought of nothing on Shorefront Parkway for these kids is very concerning to me.
Yeah, so Commissioner Kavanaugh discussed a little bit that we have had some plans in place. We're just not ready to share anything. There are things being planned. And very soon we'd like to be able to meet with the community, show some plans, including barriers and things. You had said, somebody had said here there's no plans for 119 to 126. We have a lot of plans. And things are actually moving forward. But I'm here tonight to listen. I haven't been given the authority to tell people our plans yet. And we want to hear more. We're not, that's the idea of the whole short-term, long-term. We don't want to really move forward very fast until we really get a lot of input.
Someone asked, where are the openings going to be? We're not making those decisions without the community. We need more input. So in fact, as you're filling out your cards,
Write them on your list. Where do you want to see the beaches?
where you'd like to see the entrances, and if it's not going to be every street, what makes the most sense? Not just your street. Everyone wants to go onto their street, but where does it make sense in terms of to have access that's going to be really accommodating the most numbers of people? So we're not quite ready to pull out the PowerPoints and show the plans.
What about the plans to drill natural gas lines through Reese Park?
I'm not here to speak about Reese Park.
I think that's what the problem is. I think the fact that 3 months have gone by and all we've seen with our eyes is sand being taken out.
All right, so Commissioner Lewandowski spoke not even a month ago about some of the things that we're working on. She talked about cleanup, safe up, open up. Cleanup is pretty much done, safe up is beginning, and you might be starting to notice some of the fences going up. We're starting to work on the baffle walls uptown, and you heard that they're going in deeper and higher with piles. You might be hearing people doing some work with pile tests. Those kinds of things are starting, and we're also making plans for open up. And that's the stuff we want to show. And things like these barriers, these other barriers, we're also looking at, not just HESCO, but there's several products we've been looking at. It's not like we're not taking input, doing research, looking at expertise, working with the Army Corps. We've been in lots of meetings. You know, this Haley's here from this group that's doing sustainability study through the mayor's office. There's a lot of people working toward lots of good ideas. And we don't want to finalize any of these ideas without really hearing from the community too, and making presentations. We're not going to go out and build without being able to get input. So I was told today, just come listen, take notes, bring them back to Commissioner White, who will be here in Rockaway tomorrow to meet with the community board, with Dolores and Jonathan, and people from City Hall. So there's a lot going on behind the scenes. I understand. You get the impression that nothing's happening but sand moving, and I know that must be frustrating. And I keep saying to the powers that be, we need to start sharing some more information. It's imminent. I'm not in a position to be able to give you that tonight. This is John's meeting. I was asked to come and listen. I was surprised to hear Commissioner Kavanaugh speaking, which was great, because he's a deputy commissioner and he has a lot to say. But I am in a position of listening, taking notes, bringing back your ideas, collecting the cards, collecting the surveys, whatever John wants to give us. And very soon, we'll be having these town hall meetings, sessions that you could really be able to share a lot more information and take back more. So there'll be more of these, but this is not a community board meeting. This is not a meeting that was set up by the mayor's office. This is a meeting that was set up by a Friends of Rockaway Beach group. So this is not in time that we're making a presentation. This is John's meeting.
Thank you, Jill. Okay, but that goes back to the point, Jill. The most important thing is, just what you heard tonight. I think the biggest thing you heard is, that website. If you can get information out there and really just keep giving us information, that'd be great. Okay, now we have time for 2 more questions. I apologize. This lady back here, and then Hank. Okay, and then Noreen. Okay, well, just because those are the presidents of civics, just get there representing their groups. And then we have to get out of here, unfortunately. We're kind of over time, okay? So, I'm sorry, what's your name back there?
My name is Jacqueline Tansey. Sure. My name is Jacqueline Tansey. I'm a resident of Bell Harbor. And I just wanted to briefly say I had also gone to the same meeting that I think Ms. Carter was talking about last week. And it was one of the most depressing meetings I'd ever been to, because according to that professor, we might as well just throw in the towel and all run for our lives. But there was some encouraging things that came out of it, and one of it was that downtown, and I think they said East 29th Street, there were some dunes that were built, and they said they were real dune systems, not the dune systems that we kind of were half-assed kind of put together, or kind of just slowly gathered over maybe a few-year period. But these were enforced dunes with pines on them and local native plants. And they said that those dunes single-handedly saved the bungalow community in Far Rockaway. Now, what I liked about that was that it was a proven method. And I just wanted to let all the residents here know about that happened. And that's something that I personally would love to see and learn more about, and see its viability throughout the peninsula.
Yeah.
Two more questions. Hank from Bell Harbor Property Association.